Good evening, brethren. Let's begin. NejemYah Gimel. NehemYah chapter 3 begins with verse 1, and it says, And El Yashib, the high priest, rose up with his brothers, the priests, and built the sheep gate. They set it apart and set up its doors, even as far as the tower of Hananel. They set it apart as far as the tower of Hananel. So here we see a couple things. The name El Yashib means the mighty one who restores. The mighty one will restore. Another translation could be the mighty one, he will come back. So the fact that he was the high priest, and the positive, of course, would connect El Yashib to Yahushua HaMashiach, who restores everyone who believes in him, as well as the fact that Yahweh said that he would return, as the Almighty is the first and the last. Yahushua came as the first. So El Yashib would make reference to the fact that he would come back. So he was the high priest. Then he says, rose up with his brothers and priests and built the sheep gate. Interestingly enough, Yahushua HaMashiach the first, the high priest, in John 10 tells us that he is the gate, and then the good shepherd. So he's talking about the gate for the sheep. Therefore, the sheep gate makes reference to Mashiach, who is the gate of the sheep. So, and El Yashib, the high priest, rose up with his brothers, the priests, which could represent, of course, the apostles, and build the sheep gate. They set it apart and set up its doors, even as far as the tower of Hananel, which means the favor of the mighty one. And Hanan is the root of the name Yahu-Hanan. Well, pretty much the same, just using Yahu at the front instead of El at the end. So Yahu-Hanan, which is the name of the one known as John the Baptist, who came to prepare the way for Mashiach, the high priest. And he came to, like I said, to prepare the way, to tell everybody what was coming, just like the one who stays at the tower in order to see if there are enemies or anything coming to the city, to the fortress, in order to inform the people. So in this case, the tower of Hananel would make reference to Eliyahu as John the Baptist, who came to prepare the way for the high priest, who brought the favor of the mighty one. So as far as the tower of Hananel. And if we see both names, El Yashib, Hananel would be the mighty one. He will restore the favor of the mighty one, or the mighty one will come back to bring the favor of the mighty one. And at his hand, the men of Jericho built. And at his hand, the men of Jericho built. Jericho means his moon. And in the positive represents the congregation, just like Mashiach is called Son of Righteousness in Malachi 4:2. Mashiach is the light, the first, the last, is the Son of Righteousness, first and last, become one at the end, and marry the congregation during the wedding of the Lamb. And therefore, Jericho will represent his wife. Jericho means his moon, the moon being the wife of the sun. So, and At his hand, the men of Jericho built. And at his hand, Sakur, son of Imri, built. So we're going to see several names throughout this chapter. We will see, if not all, most of them, and see how they connect with what we are reading. So Sakur, son of Imri, Zakur means mindful, or he who remembers, for it comes from Zakar, he remembered. And Imri is eloquent, comes from, he made, which would come from Amar, which means he said. So, from the names we have so far, the mighty one will return through the sheep gate with the favor of Elohim for his moon, for he remembers what he said. So the prophecies, or for what he remembers, and he's coming to speak or to preach. But remembering fits with what he said. So he remembers the prophecies and the promises that he will keep at the end of this world, this reality. So, and at his hand, the men of Jericho built, and at his hand, Sakur, son of Imri, built. And the sons of Hasenah built the fish gate, who laid its beams and set up its doors, its bolts and bars. So the fish gate, Hasenah, let's look at the meaning of this name. It says thorny. So it has a connection with Sinai, the mountain where the Almighty gave the Torah. So Sanab, meaning turning. As we know, Mashiach came and he told the disciples that they would become fishers of men. And Mashiach was given a crown of thorns when he was killed. So if I go back a little bit, the mighty one, he will return through the sheep gate, so through Mashiach, the first, to bring the favor of the mighty one to his moon, the congregation, for he remembers what he said or his promises. He who was covered with thorns to be the gate for the fish that would be gathered by the disciples. So then, and the sons of Hasanah built the fish gate, who laid its beams and set up its doors, its bolts and bars. And at their hand, Meremot, son of Uriah, son of Kots, strengthened. This is interesting because of this Kots right here, if it is what I'm thinking. So I'll read the whole verse because it has more names. So, and at their hand, Meremot, son of Uriah, son of Kots, strengthened. And at their hand, Meshulam, son of Berechiah, son of Meshezabel, strengthened. And at their hand, Sadok, son of Baana, strengthened. So let's see the names from this verse. Meremot, Uriah, which means my light is Yahweh. We'll see if Kots is what I thought. Berechiah, which is the blessing of Yahweh. Sador, which is righteous, and this one which fits the context. So Meremot, elevations, comes from rum, which means a high place. So Meremot, elevations. Kots means thorn. So, like I said, it's interesting because we already saw a thorny one, or the one who was surrounded by thorns, and now the thorn is mentioned again. Kots. Remember that the Kol Ain was how the old Sinai was called in Hebrew, and the Yahudim would call it the Kots Ain, as in the thorny eye. So it is believed that one of the reasons why they cover Mashiach's head with thorns was to say that he was a king sent by the enemy, whom they were hoping to insult by using the word kots instead of kol. So thorn. Then Meshulam. Meshulam, which means friend. Mashiach came to die for us, and he said that he made us friends. For before that, we were just servants or slaves, and a slave doesn't know what his master is doing. He only does what he's told without knowing why. But the friend, he knows, and he's even a partner many times in what his friend is doing. So I say that because of what we'll see through these names soon. So Meshulam, friend, then Berechia, Yahweh blesses, or the blessing of Yahweh. Meshezavel, Elohim delivers. Elohim delivers. Then we have Sadok, which is righteous. So he delivers the righteous who are in affliction, or delivers the righteous right in the affliction, which would be how Yahweh will deliver the chosen when the great tribulation begins, and even the many who will fall. And I mean, will die during the great tribulation, but Yahweh will bring them back from that affliction, in the affliction. Ba'ana. So, with that said, I'll just keep it from the verse 3. And the one who was covered with thorns, who is the gate of the fish, who were gathered by the apostles, of course, would go to the high place, or to the heavens, Meremot. So he who was covered with thorns to become the gate of the fish went to the heavens as the light of Yahweh after the thorns, to become the friend, or to become a friend and a blessing of Yahweh. And a blessing of Yahweh. For Elohim delivers the righteous from their affliction. So look how it fits perfectly, one after the other, referring to what Mashiach came to do, to become the gate for the sheep and for the fish, which are the two animals used in scriptures to refer to those who follow the Almighty, to look for the Creator. And it's also interesting that sheep would refer to, for instance, the few, and fish, the many, for there are many in the sea, and there are two types of creatures. So far, the Almighty revealing through NejemYah, through the meanings of the names of this chapter, how Mashiach would come and become the gate for the few and the many, to bring the favor of Yahweh, become the light of Yahweh after being covered with thorns, and then go to the heavens after becoming the friend and the blessing of Yahweh to bring the salvation, or for Yahweh to deliver the righteous from their affliction. So it would refer not only to the fact that Yahweh resurrected Mashiach, so he brought deliverance to the righteous in his affliction, but also means obviously that because of Mashiach, now those who become righteous through their belief in him will be saved from or delivered from the affliction or even the tribulation, as we see in the book of Revelation. Then verse 5, and at their hand, the Tekoites strengthened, and at their hand, the Tekoi, as we see over here in verse 5, Hatekoi. This word right here is the blowing of the shofar or the trumpet, as in tekiyah, one of the sounds that comes from the shofar on Yom Teruah. Tekiyah Gedolah, for instance, is the last of the fourth, and it represents the last trumpet, which is, when it comes to the book of Revelation, the seventh trumpet, which is when the harvest will happen, when the chosen few will be transformed, gathered. So how interesting that the Tekoites, those who blow the shofar, appears right after the righteous will be delivered from their affliction. So since going to the heavens, the light of Yahweh, who was surrounded by thorns, became the friend and the blessing of Yah, the Elohim who delivers the righteous from the affliction during the sound of the trumpet, the last trumpet. So during the harvest. And at their hand, the Tekoites strengthened, but their nobles did not put their shoulders to the work of their master. And at their hand, the Tekoites strengthened, but their nobles did not put their shoulders to the work of their master. And Yahuyadah, son of Paseah, and Meshulam, son of Besodeya, strengthened the old gate. They laid its beams and set up its doors and its bolts and its bars. So now we have these names right here. 6. We have here, well, Yoyada, which comes from Yahuyadah. So Yahuyadah, Yahweh knows. Yahu that Yahweh knows. Then we have Paseach, which is limper, lame, limping. That already connects with Yaakov, for we know what happened to Yaakov when he fought Elohim. Afterwards, he was limping. It is written, well, in the Jewish tradition, that Yahweh healed him the next day, so he was fine afterwards, but that is in the tradition. Other than that, we would imagine that he was limping after that moment, which represents the last coming as the prodigal son, who needs a scepter, who needs a staff in order to walk the way. Yahushua being the way, and his name being the authority or the staff held by the last in order to be able to walk right. Because he will have to fight the Elohim of this world, and it was necessary for him to come in that matter and need Mashiach as his staff. So Now, this is also interesting because look how it says Paseach, but it comes from Pasach, which is to pass over, which is the root of Pesach. So if we see it as limping, then it would be connected to Yaakov and therefore also to the congregation. But if we see it as Pesach, then we have the feast in which Mashiach died and in which the two witnesses would begin their ministry. So that was Pesach. Then we have Meshulam, which is friend once again. And then we have Besodeya, which is translated as with the counsel of Yahweh or in the secret of Yahweh. Where would be in, Sod is secret, Yah is Yahweh. So in the secret of Yahweh. But they also write counsel because Sod refers to the fourth level of interpretation of scriptures, which is the mystery one or secret, the most profound interpretation of scriptures. So now with those names in mind, we have this verse saying after the last trumpet, when the righteous will be delivered from their affliction, the tribulation. So after the seventh trumpet, Yahweh will know. So that could be connected just like when Adam knew Eve and they had Set. So now once the chosen few are gathered, they will become one with Mashiach during the wedding of the Lamb. So Yahweh, Yahushua will know them, the chosen few. Also, we could say, but of course, Yahweh knows all things, so that wouldn't be a surprise. But that would be another way of seeing it, would be that after the seventh trumpet, then Yahweh will know the chosen few personally. So, and Yahweh will know like I was saying, the first interpretation that I mentioned, and Yahweh will know the one limping, so it would be the prodigal son. But the fact that it's so similar to Pesach, it would be Yahweh will know from Pesach, which would be from the moment when the lamb died. Everything would be known. The true doctrine through the Ruach HaKodesh given by Mashiach, and also beginning on Pesach, the two witnesses will give the true doctrine. But the fact that we have friend afterwards, it will be Yahweh will know in future after talking about Mashiach coming and being able to deliver the chosen few during the seventh trumpet. Yahweh will know the prodigal son, representing the one limping like Yaakov when he fought Elohim, who is his friend, just like Abraham was called friend of Elohim and also Benjamin, who comes with the secret of Yah. For Mashiach said during the first manifestation of Yahweh on earth, said that he came speaking in parables, but that he would appear once again and speak directly. So revealed the secret of Yahweh in a clear way. And interestingly enough, then comes the old gate as revealing the secret of Yahweh from the Old Testament, as in using the Ruach HaKodesh to read the Old Testament to be able to understand what Yahweh was really saying. So Yahweh will know the one who comes limping like a prodigal son as a friend. Yahweh will know he who comes as Yaakov as a friend with the secret of Yahweh from old, or I repeat, the Tanakh. They laid its beams and set up its doors and bolts and its bars. Verse 7, and at their hand, Melatiah, the Gibeonite, and Yadon, the Meronotite, the man of Gibeon and Mitzpah, strengthened the official seat of the governor beyond the river. So, and at their hand, Melatiah, the Gibeonite, and Yadom the Meronotite, the men of Gibeon and Mitzpah, strengthened the official seat of the governor beyond the river. So Melatiah, which means Yahweh delivers. Then we have the Givoni, which comes from Gibeon, which means hill city. Yadon, thankful, comes from Yada. Meiron, Meironoti, joyful shouter. Then once again, Gibeon, which is the hill city. And Mitzpah, which means watchtower. Watchtower. So after Yahweh will know one coming as the prodigal son, as a friend who comes with the secret of Yah from old and who starts in Pesach. So Melatiah was Yahweh delivers. So we also saw the root of it being Melet. I didn't mention it, but I showed it on the screen, which was translated also as clay. As the clay of Yah, which just like Adam, which was made from the clay. And as we know, the last is the son of Adam, so it connects with the son of Adam. But also, if we see it as Yahweh delivers, would mean that Yahweh will deliver his friend who stars in Pesach, who comes as a prodigal son, whom Yahweh will know, and who comes with the secret of Yah about the Old Testament revealed now through the new covenant. So Yahweh will give him deliverance from the hill city. I have mentioned how in Revelation we read that the great whore of Babylon sits on 7 hills, and it's called also a city. So we could see this as the one who comes as the prodigal son beginning on Pesach would be delivered by Yah from the great whore, from the hill city. Or if we see hill city in the positive, it would be that the last will be delivered by Yah and brought to the heights, as in the New Jerusalem, as a hill city. Either way, he will be delivered by Yah and he will give thanks. He will be thankful. He will be thankful and will be a joyful shouter. So, because of the Yahweh's deliverance from the hill city, he will give thanks and he will shout with joy. The fact that here we see hill city once again, then I would lean towards being positive, for in that case it would be. And I know I keep going back, but it's necessary like to see how the names connect. And I guess that is the main point of this chapter, other than the basic story that is being told regarding who built what. So Yahweh will know the prodigal son who begins on Pesach as a friend who comes with the secret of Yah. And he will be delivered by Yah and brought to the hill city, to the heavens. He will be thankful and will shout with joy from the hill city, which is like a watchtower beyond the river, which is interesting because it would be like beyond this reality. Remember that the river, the Yarden, represented death. So passing the Yarden River while dry represented going from this world to the next without dying, which is what the 144,000 will do. In this case, if we're talking about the last, he will be delivered in the sense of resurrected and then taken to the eternal reality, which would be beyond the river. Then at his hand, Uziel, son of Harayah, one of the goldsmiths, strengthened. And at his hand, Hananiah, one of the perfumers, strengthened, and they restored Jerusalem as far as the broad wall. As far as the broad wall. Uziel means my strength is Elohim, or the mighty one. From Oz and El, Uziel, my strength is the mighty one. Charchaya would be the fear of Yahweh. It comes from Chara, the fear of Yahweh. And then Hananiah, which is whom Elohim has, whom Yahweh has favored. So he will shout with joy from the hill city, which is like a watchtower beyond the river. My strength is the mighty one. The fear of Yah brings the favor of Yah and the instruction of Shalom and a broad protection, if we include that. So my strength is the mighty one. The fear of Yah, which as we know is the beginning of wisdom. So we could say that the beginning of wisdom is what strengthens him, or the beginning of wisdom is what brings the favor of Yah, which actually both are right. For the wisdom comes from Mashiach, and we can do all things through Mashiach who strengthens us. So my strength is the mighty one, the fear of Yah, which brings the favor of Yah and the instruction of Shalom, the instruction of peace and a broad protection. Look how now Jerusalem is mentioned and a broad wall is mentioned, as in the fact that the instruction of Shalom gives us a broad protection. The instruction from scriptures for Torah, one of the meanings is instruction. In fact, Yeru is connected to Yara, and Yara is the root of Torah. So our strength is the mighty one, and the fear of Yah gives us his favor and the instruction of Shalom for a broad protection. Then verse 9, and at their hand, Rephaiah, son of Hur, ruler of half the district of Jerusalem, strengthened. Yahweh will heal with the instruction of Shalom. And let me just confirm that. Rephaiah, Yahweh heals or healed of Yahweh. Then Hur, whole. Yeah. So the whole connects with, or Hur connects with the Sheol, which is under the earth, and that's where the dead go. But in this case, Yahweh will heal. What we read here, Yahweh will heal the whole. So it would be like saying Yahweh will give resurrection to those who are in Sheol. We saw in a previous verse how the chosen few will be gathered from the great tribulation during the last trumpet, and how Yahweh will pretty much resurrect the last, take him to the heavens, who will proclaim that his strength is the mighty one, and the fear of Yahweh gives favor and the instruction of Shalom and protection. After that, the Almighty Yahweh will heal those who are in Sheol with the instruction of Shalom. Verse 10, and at their hand, Yedaiah, son of Harumaph, strengthened, even opposite his house. And at his hand, Hattush, son of Hashabneiah, strengthened. I'll read a couple more and then we'll try and see 3 verses in a row. Malkiah, son of Harim, And Hashub, son of Pahad Moab, strengthened another section, and the tower of the ovens, and the tower of the ovens. Look how the first part, and we will see other gates, but the first part mentioned the sheep gate, the fish gate, the old gate, which connected with the sheep gate, the chosen few, the fish gate, the many, and the old gate, how the Old Testament would be revealed through the Ruach HaKodesh, and the testimony of the last, who gives the doctrine of Yahweh through the spirit of truth that comes from Mashiach. Now, after that, we saw the broad wall, which connects with the protection that comes from the instruction and the spirit of the Almighty. And now it mentions the tower of the ovens, which connects also with the end, when fire will destroy the earth. And the tower with the watchtower, in the sense of, for instance, the two witnesses who have to appear to tell everybody what is going to happen. So Malkiyah, son of Harim, and Hashub, son of Pahad Moab, strengthened another section in the tower of the ovens. And at his hand, Shalom, son of Halohesh, ruler of half the district of Jerusalem, strengthened, he and his daughters. So we saw from 10 through 12. So we have Yedayah, praised of Yahweh, whom Yahweh praises. Like, for instance, what Yahweh said about Mashiach, for instance, as well as what we read in the New Covenant regarding those who believe in Mashiach and fulfill his commandments, are praised by Yahweh. And that shows the favor shown by Yahweh towards the chosen few, as well as his humility, in order for him to be the one saying good things about his chosen. So Yedayah, the praise of Yahweh. Harumaf, split nose. Af is nose, so Harum would be the split. Comes from Haram, so split nose. Haram pretty much means destroy, utterly, completely destroy, dedicate for destruction, exterminate. So could be connected, well, Haramaf could be seen as the nose of destruction. And as we know, Af in Hebrew also means wrath, for the wrath of a person is shown on the nose. So we could say is the wrath that destroys. Then we have Chatush, which means assembled. Then Hashav Naya, whom Yahweh regards. Or in whom Yahweh, well, yeah, whom Yahweh regards, or who Yahweh thinks about, which could be seen as his congregation. Whom Yahweh regards, then Malkiyah, which is my king is Yahweh. Malkiyah, my king is Yahweh. Then Harim, which is dedicated, but we also saw how Haram was interpreted as destruction. And this dedicated is connected to being dedicated for destruction, as we saw in the other one, also translated as flat nose, Harim. Then we have Hashub, which means considerate, thoughtful, pretty much. Comes from Hashab. Then Pahad Moab, the pit of Moab, or the pit of the father. The pit of the father, which once again could be connected with the bottomless pit. And I say once again, in the sense of the hole connected with Sheol, and now the pit connected with the worst part of Sheol. Shalom, retribution, payment, comes from shalom, which is peace, to be at peace once you pay. And then we have halo, lochesh, which means whisper. So lochesh is whisper or enchanter. So I saw a lot. Hopefully I remember them. So before that, we had that Yahweh will heal the whole, or those who are in Sheol, with the instruction of Shalom, or will lead them to Shalom. Yahweh will heal them, those who are in Sheol, who are righteous, of course, who receive righteousness to their belief in Mashiach, and he will guide them with peace. And Yahweh will praise them. Then, Yahweh will praise them. This would be split nose. If we see it as split nose, that would be like, for instance, the two parts of the nose, like in this case, because we just saw how he will heal those who are in Sheol, and he already gathered the ones who were chosen during the seventh trumpet. So let's say he will praise the few and the many. Split nose. Nose is connected with face, as we see in Genesis when Elazar gave a ring to Rivka, which she put on her nose. Yeah, the scripture says on her face. So Yahweh will praise. I say that in the sense of the few and the many, when he finally is with them face to face. But if we see it as the wrath of destruction, then after Yahweh will praise them, once he is with the few and the many, then the wrath of destruction will be assembled. Then with נחמיה, and those whom Yahweh regards, for Yahweh is king. This word flat nose. So it was connected with destruction. But one thing about that being translated as flat nose could be referring to how the wrath of Yahweh, referred to by the term nose, the wrath of Yahweh will be flattened, or he won't be mad ever again. He won't be angry at his people, the few and the many. After that, once he has become the king of kings and sovereign of sovereigns, which, as we know, happens with the second coming. For Mashiach came as the high priest, which we even saw that at the beginning of the chapter, for Yashib was the high priest. So I'll see. Then we had Hashub, which was thoughtful. Ahad Moab, the pit of his father. So once again, Yahweh will praise them, those whom he has gathered. And then the wrath of destruction will manifest on this earth. And those who were assembled, like the chosen and the many, those who were assembled will be regarded by Yahweh. Yahweh will keep them in mind once he has become the king. For my king is Yah. And the wrath or destruction, Yahweh will keep in mind for those who are in the pit of the Father. So the bottomless pit will receive the destruction that Yahweh has kept in mind since the book of Hanok regarding the fallen angels who are there waiting for that punishment. And look how it then mentions the Tower of Ovens. After Pahad Moab, the pit of the father connects with ovens, for there's fire there, heat. That's how they will be punished. Then we have Shalom, which is, like I said, we could say payment, comes from peace, Shalom. So retribution. So look how it says, once Yahweh is king, the wrath that he has kept in mind for those who are in the pit of the Father, as in ovens, receiving retribution. Receiving retribution with the enchanter or the whisperer, as in the inclination to do evil, which whispers to people to do what they're not supposed to through the flesh, or the enchanter as Satan, who enchanted people through entertainment in many other ways in order for them to get lost and go into Sheol, or the bottomless pit in this case. So retribution will come for the enchanter, the whisperer, as it was said in the instruction of Shalom. So I repeat this verse and continue. And at his hand, Shalom, son of Chelohesh, ruler of half the district of Jerusalem, strengthened he and his daughters. Hanun and the people of Zanoah strengthened the valley gate. So we go back to gates. The valley gate, the valley connects with what we see in Psalms regarding the valley of the shadow of death. So it kind of continues with what we were seeing regarding the pit, the ovens, the destruction, the wrath of destruction. So now we have Hanun and the people of Zanoah strengthened the valley gate. They built it and set up its doors, its bolts and bars, and 1,000 cubits of the wall as far as the dung gate. So 2 gates, valley gate, which connects with the shadow of death, that which leads to Sheol, and the dung gate, which connects once again with the bad part of Sheol, where waste is thrown. Souls which are seen as the waste of this reality because of their deeds, in the sense that they must be purified, for they are as dung, for they have worshipped the golden calf, for instance. So Hanun and the people of Zanoah. Then verse 14, and the dung gate was strengthened by Malchijah, son of Rechab, ruler of the district of Beit Hakerem. He built it and set up its doors, its bolts and bars. So let's see 13 and 14. So Hanun comes from Hanan, which is favorable. Whom Elohim pities. So he who receives the favor of Elohim, so favorable. Then we have Sanoach, which is cast off. Malchijah, my king is Yah. Rechab, rider. And Beit Hakerem, the house of the vineyard. Something interesting from this name is that here we have Noach. And we know the coming of the Son of Man would be like the days of Noach. The Zayin is a sword, so we will be like Noach with a sword or the man who was crowned, who is like Noah, comes from Zanach, reject, cast off. So, keeping obviously that meaning would be he who receives the favor of Elohim will be cast off, as in rejected by the world. And even if we see it as the fact that he would come as a prodigal son to eventually receive the favor of Yahweh, first he will be cast off because of his errors. So he who receives the favor of Yahweh will be cast off through the valley of shadow of death, meaning he will be killed, through the gate of that which is a waste, as in he will be rejected by the world as the worst, as dung. But he is the king of Yahweh, meaning the king that Yahweh sends, and the rider of the white horse, who comes for the house of the vineyard. So, once again, he who receives the favor of Elohim will be cast off, as in killed, to go through a valley of the shadow of death, rejected as dung from this world, but he will become the king sent by Yahweh, who is the rider of the white horse, who comes for the house, the congregation of the vineyard, Israel. Then we have verse 15. And the fountain gate was strengthened by Shallum, son of Kol Jose, ruler of the district of Mitzpah. He built it and covered it, and set up its doors, its bolts and bars, also the wall of the pool of Shalah by the sovereign's garden, as far as the stairs going down from the city of David. This I find important, for we see now the garden being mentioned, just like we saw parts that represented Sheol, the pit. Now we see the garden, which would be the paradise, the best part in Sheol. So, and a fountain gate was strengthened by Shallum, son of Kol Jose. Shallum means retribution. It's connected to Shalom, just with a nun instead of a mem. And that could be important because the last is a descendant of Nun. The fact that it's the same exact word, but Yahweh decided to write a Nun instead of a mem, could be connected to the fact that it's the descendant of Nun, the one that is referring to through these names. So Shalom would be retribution. Then Kal Jose, all seeing. As we mentioned earlier regarding Kol Ain, all seeing eye, which they would call Kots, Ain Kots. But now we have Kol Jose in this block, Kal Jose, which would be all seeing. Then we have Mitzpah, which is watchtower. Then Shiloach, which means sent. And then David, which means beloved. So I think it kind of fits with what we were seeing in the previous verses. He who receives the favor of Yahweh will be cast off and then become the king that Yahweh sent as a rider of the white horse to get the house of the vineyard, the congregation. And lead them to the fountain gate, which is Mashiach, the fountain of life, for them to receive shalom and to bring retribution to the all-seeing eye, to bring retribution payment to the all-seeing eye. And as we know, the all-seeing eye is Lucifer, and the last will fight Lucifer, the serpent, and bring him down from the second heaven in Revelation 12, just like Jacob fought Samael, or fought Elohim and won in Genesis. So after leading the house of the vineyard to the fountain, he will bring retribution to the all-seeing eye, who is on the watchtower. And he who was sent is the beloved one. He who was sent is the beloved one, the branch of David. And if we add the garden here, it will be, and he who was sent will go to the garden, as in paradise. When he's killed, he will go to the garden, for he is beloved. I hope so far it's clear. Verse 16. After him, NejemYah, son of Azbuk, ruler of half the district of Beit Sur, strengthened as far as opposite the burial sites of David, and to the man-made pool, and as far as the house of the mighty men. After him, NejemYah, son of Azbuk. So, well, as we know, NejemYah, whom Yahweh comforts, whom Yahweh aids. Then Azbuk, which means strong devastation. Strong devastation. As is strong, and Buk comes from Buka, which is emptiness or devastation. Then Beit Sur, which is the house of the rock. Sur is also the name of what is known as Tyre, as in Ezekiel 28, when Yahweh speaks to Lucifer through the king of Tyre, or the king of Sur. So, Yahweh will bring comfort after the strong devastation. After the strong devastation caused by the house of the rock. And what I mean there is that the house of the rock, just like we saw earlier, the house of the vineyard representing Israel, now we have the Beit Sur, which in the negative would be connected to Lucifer, who wants to be a rock to supplant, to take the place of Mashiach. That's why he's the false Mashiach, or the anti-Messiah. Anti means in place of. So if we see this Sur as the Sur of Ezekiel 28, that would be the house of Lucifer, the house, meaning the people that follow Satan. He will be devastated with strength. So the strong devastation will come to the people of the false Messiah, the people of Satan. Then Yahweh will bring comfort. So Yahweh will bring comfort after the strong devastation of the house, the followers of Satan, who will claim to be a rock. But another way of seeing it would be Yahweh will bring comfort to those who will go through the strong devastation, meaning the great tribulation, the many. When they enter the house of the rock, in the positive sense, Mashiach, who is the beloved one. Interesting that it mentions burial sites as the ones who will go through the great tribulation, the strong desolation, will be buried. So, like mentioning, those who will die, but Yahweh will comfort and bring to the house of the rock, who is the beloved one. and they will become mighty men. And I mentioned those words, even though they're not names, because they kind of stand out from the verse. So Yahweh will bring comfort. To those who went through strong devastation, as in the Great Tribulation, and bring them to the house of the rock, strong rock, which is our mighty one. In this case, Mashiach, who is the cornerstone, who is beloved. Then after him, the Levites, Rehum, son of Bani, strengthened, and his hand strengthened Hashabiah, ruler of half the district of Kehila, for his district. After him, their brothers, Bawai, son of Henadad, ruler of the other half of the district of Kehila, strengthened. And at his hand, Ezer, son of Yeshua, the ruler of Mitzpah, strengthened another section before the going up to the armory at that corner, at the corner. So, and at his hand, Ezer, son of Yeshua, the ruler of Mitzpah, strengthened another section before the going up to the armory at the corner. So from 17 through 19. So Levi means join to. Rehum comes from Rahum, which comes from Rechem, which means compassion or mercy. So Rahum is compassion. Bani is built. This could also be seen as my son, Beni, but Bani is built. As we know, Mashiach is the temple and the son of Yahweh. So when Yahweh built his temple, he made his image, and that image is Mashiach. Then Hashabiah, Yahweh has considered, similar to whom Yahweh regards, for is the same root pretty much. Whom Yahweh has considered. Then Kehila, fortress. Bawai or Bavai, my goings. Bavai, my goings. So yeah, Bavai. We're not going to forget that one, I guess, right? So I'm going to close it. Nadad, which is the favor of Haddad, and Haddad means mighty. So the favor of the mighty one. The favor of the mighty one. Then we have Kehila once again, which is fortress. Ezer is treasure. Could be translated also as help, as you can see here. Ezer, not sure why they write treasure there, but I would say it's more help. Then we have Yeshua, my bad. Yeshua, which means he is saved. He is saved. This is how a lot of people pronounce the name of the Messiah, right? One thing here is that after the exile in Babylon, half the people were speaking Aramaic. So it is possible, because of the fact that we can also see the name of Yahushua known as Joshua. Yahushua is mentioned in these books after the exile once as Yeshua, which is possible that had to do with the fact that they were speaking, half of the people, Aramaic, so they made an Aramaic version of the name Yahushua, or a short version, which would be taking out 2 letters of the name of Yahweh, which is not really that good. I mean, the fact that they took 2 letters from Yahweh out of the name. There are reasons for that, of course, but I mentioned that because that's the case here as well. Yeshua. That's how a lot of people call the name of the Messiah. But I repeat, could be said to be a contraction or a different way of conjugating the verb yasha, because look how it says he is saved in the sense of Yahushua. He is the one who saves us. It is the salvation of Yahweh, Yahushua. In this case, Yeshua he is saved. So doesn't refer to the fact that we will be saved through him. It refers to the fact that he was saved. The name Yeshua, I repeat. So it's a bit different than what the name of the Messiah should mean, because we are saved through him. And look how it says Yeshua, root word or etymology for Yahushua. So the original is this, Yahushua. And look how it even has a vav between the shin and the ayin, so we know that it's Shua and not Yahusha, as a lot of people pronounce it. Is Yahushua, a mix of Yahweh and Yasha. Some would claim that it's not Yasha, the other part, but Shua, which obviously makes sense because of how it's pronounced. But it's simply a different word that comes from the same root. So, yeah. So that was Yeshua, he is saved. Then Mitzpah, which is watchtower. Then Baruch, which is blessed. And I think this one was from the next one. Sabai, which is pure. But hopefully I'll remember all of the names. So that we had here, I guess I'm gonna have to go back because here has to do with adding. So some people will be added to this who were comforted here. So Yahweh will bring comfort to those who went through strong devastation, those who are the house of the rock, the cornerstone, the beloved. And they will be added to mercy, or to them will be given mercy. Yahweh will add to them mercy. For I built them, as in gave them new bodies. Or for they are my son, as in they are now part of Mashiach. Body and blood representing the few and the many. So Yahweh will add to them mercy, and they will be built like the temple of Yahweh, for they are his son. Whom Yahweh has considered. Whom Yahweh has considered to bring to the fortress, which if I'm not mistaken, that was the meaning of Kehila. Whom Yahweh has considered to bring to the fortress, meaning his kingdom. His goings, bye-bye. His goings will bring favor. The favor of the mighty one will bring the favor of the mighty one. Just want to make sure that once again, favor of the mighty. So his goings, as in coming to the earth as first and last, brought the favor of the mighty one from the fortress, from his kingdom, to help and save. Those who are watching, those who are awake, or to save from the watchtower, from the heavens. Hope that was clear. I'll say it real quick. And Yahweh will add to them mercy, for he shall build them like his temple, whom Yahweh regards, considers, to bring to the fortress, or whom he built, whom Yahweh regards as a fortress. His goings, first and last, are to bring the favor of the mighty one from the fortress as a help and salvation from the watchtower, or for those who are watching. Then we have verse 20. After him, Baruch, son of Zabbai, eagerly strengthened the other section from the buttress to the door of the house of Eliashib, the high priest. After him, Meremot, son of Uriah, son of Koch, strengthened another section from the door of the house of Eliashib to the end of the house of Eliashib. And after him, the priests, the men of the neighborhood, strengthened. So 20 through 22. He was saying to be a help and salvation for those who are watching, who will be blessed and pure. For the mighty one will return. Well, for the mighty one will restore, who will be blessed and pure. For the mighty one will restore in the heights through the light of Yahweh. Or the mighty one will return from the heights as the light of Yah. Who was covered or surrounded by thorns. The mighty one will return. The mighty one will return. Eliashib twice. So I repeat this once again. They will be blessed and pure. Or we could say the blessed one and set apart one, he will return from the heights as the light of Yah, who was surrounded by thorns. He will return. He will return. Then we have 23. After him, Benjamin and Hashub strengthened opposite their house. After them, Azariah, son of Maaseiah, son of Ananiah, strengthened near his house. After him, Binui, son of Henadad, strengthened another section from the house of Azariah to the angle, even as far as the corner. Palal, son of Uzai, strengthened opposite the corner and on the tower which projects from the sovereign's upper house that was by the courtyard of the prison. After him, Pedaiah, son of Parosh. So from 23 till 25th. Benjamin, son of the right hand. Hashub would be, well, one whom Yahweh regards or considers, depending on, consider it. Then Azariah, which would be whom Yahweh helps, or the help of Yahweh, right there. Then Maaseiah, the works of the mighty one, work of Yahweh. Then Ananiah, whom Yahweh answers, or well, in this case, has to do with Anan, which is cloud. Ananiah, the cloud of Yahweh, or Yahweh clouds, what Yahweh covers. Then we have Binui, Henadad, which was the favor of the mighty one. Azariah, the help, or whom Yahweh helps. Then Palal, Uzai, Pedaiah, and Parosh. Binui means built up, You see the same root, bana, as in bani. So binui, built up. Palal, judge, a judge. Then we have uzai, which is I shall have my sprinklings. I shall have my sprinklings. Robust, robust. Uzai, which comes from uzi, which means strong or my strength. So it's kind of weird that they say I shall have my sprinklings. But the root is strength. Then pedaya, which is Yahweh has ransomed, Yahweh has redeemed, Yahweh has preserved. And then parosh, which is flee, a flee, because of their jump. Yeah, a flee. So let me see. So here we have the son of the right hand, who is considerate, who is thoughtful. Will be the help of Yahweh, who does the work of Yahweh, who fulfills the works of Yahweh, and who is protected by Yahweh as with a cloud. If we see this as, remember that Benjamin also could be called Ben-Yamin, which means the son of days, which refers to the last, for Benjamin was the last son of Jacob. So in that case, the son of days, the last, will consider to bring the help of Yahweh and fulfill the works of Yahweh while being covered by a cloud, which could be connected to the fact that he comes like a thief in the night, or also as the prodigal son, a cloud but of error, the apostasy, as we see also in Isaiah. Then it says, he will be built up with the favor of the mighty one, to be a help from Yahweh and a judge who has strength, who has my strength. Yahweh will redeem, or who has my strength to redeem, like a flea, or like when it comes to flea, could be connected to, well, the jump, like he was saying, that's the name given to the flea, parosh, because of how high it jumps. Spring, it's springing, as it said in the concordance. So it will be like the last, once it resurrects, goes up to the heavens and then takes the chosen few with him. Also, the fact that a flea is really small, just like the last is represented by the term small. That's why um, Mordecai, which means small, represents the last, as well as Paul, which means small. Also, it comes like a thief in the night. It is hard to see a flea. But if we were to talk about this, like for instance, as a plague of fleas, similar to that of Egypt, then we would have, going back to the son of days, the last, will consider to bring the help of Yahweh, to fulfill the work of Yahweh, covered by the cloud of Yahweh. He will be built up with the favor of the mighty one, and will bring the help of Yahweh. As a judge with strength, he will redeem from the plague. Then we have verse 26. Let me read first. So 26. Now the Nethinim dwelt in Ophel as far as opposite the water gate toward the east and on the projecting tower. After him, the Tekoites strengthened another section. This is going to be interesting because we have here once again the blowing of the shofar or the trumpet. After him, the Tekoites strengthened another section opposite the great projecting tower and as far as the wall of Ophel. Beyond the horse gate, the priests strengthened, each opposite his own house. It now mentions the horse gate, and as we know, the last comes on a white horse on the first seal, and then on the war of Harmegiddo, he comes on a white horse right there with the heavenly army. So let me see the names from 26 through 28. The Natin comes from Natan, which is to give, given, bestowed. And Ophel means heal. A heal. So we have here those who have been given. Ophel was a heal, right? Those who have been given from the hill. Look how, well, Nethinim refers to gifts or people who are given. Either they're given something or they're given to somebody else. As in, for instance, in this case, the many who have been, well, a hill represents a female, just like a mountain represents a male. The hill or hills, like I said in the negative, connects with the whore of Babylon, which sits on 7 hills. But in the positive, it could be connected to the kingdom of Yahweh. So in this case, those who have been given from the hill to go through the water gate or from the hill of water, I find that to be important, the fact that it mentions the water gate right there, because remember that in the previous verses, when we saw those who blow the horn, the shofar, the Tekoites, that referred to the chosen few being gathered, harvested, saved without having to experience death. Now the Tekoites are being mentioned once again in verse 27, as in once again the 7th trumpet, but this time seems to be referring to the many who will spill their blood like water, and who will be the land, the earth, swallowing the water sent by the serpent from its mouth when it's trying to destroy the few, but cannot, because the few receive the eagle wings. So the congregation of the few goes to the prepared place for 1,260 days. After that, that river that couldn't get the few will be swallowed by the land, and that represents how the many will be killed during the harvest, during the 7th trumpet. They will be the many whom Yahweh will resurrect after their death. So before them being killed, they would have been in a different doctrine or religion. Well, doctrine. When they realize their error, they will be pretty much given to Yahweh, but through death. So those who were given from the hill or who went down hill or who came from the apostasy, who entered through water or through death. As we know, being immersed in water represents dying. That's why they were immersed in the Yarden, he who descends, for it represents how the soul descends to Sheol. But when they pass through the Yarden without them getting wet, represents not having to die like the chosen few. So those who are given from the hill, or who go downhill like the water in order to enter through death during the last trumpet. Here it mentions once again the hill and then the horse gate. When it comes to a horse, like I said, it connects with the last who comes on a white horse. But when it comes to the many and what I was mentioning regarding the harvest, it is written that their blood will reach the horse's bridles. So once again, it connects with the many who will have to die during the great tribulation. So those who are given from the hill will go through the gate of death, having to swallow the water sent by the serpent during the last trumpet. Those of the hill will go through the gate of war, and the blood will reach the horse's bridles, as we see in Revelation 14. But if we see what comes after, we see that it says, after them, Sadok, son of Immer, strengthened opposite his own house. After him, Shemaiah, son of Shechaniah, keeper of the east gate, strengthened. So the fact that here we have the righteous who speaks, or the righteous who is eloquent, as we know, we become righteous through Mashiach. So the fact that he just mentioned the seventh trumpet, that connects with the time of the end, therefore the last. So I'll repeat this a little bit. Those who were given from the hill will go to the gate of death, which is represented by the water going down. During the seventh trumpet, those of the hill, the one who comes on a horse, is the one who is righteous, who will speak or teach, preach, as verse 29. We're almost done, people. So Zadok is righteous, Immer was eloquent, Shemaiah, whom Yahweh hears. I will do 30 already. I don't think we read it. So I'll read it 30. After them, Sadok, son of Immer, strengthened opposite his own house. After him, Shemaiah, son of Shechaniah, keeper of the east gate, strengthened. After him, Hananiah, son of Shelemiah, and Hanun, the sixth son of Salaph, strengthened another section. After him, Meshulam, son of Berechiah, strengthened opposite his room. So he had said, yeah, it's a bit different, written a bit different than the one in the beginning. He had said, Shemaiah heard by Yahweh, Sechaniah, dweller with Yahweh, would be Shechaniah, dweller with Yahweh, he who dwells with Yahweh. Then we have Hananiah, whom Yahweh has favored, Shelemiah, repaid by Yahweh, Hanun, favorable, and then Salaph, wound, a wound. So he who comes on a horse is the righteous whom he has said, or the righteous whom he promised or prophesied about, whom Yahweh hears, who dwells with Yahweh. or with whom Yahweh dwells. Who came from the east. If we mention here the east, obviously we know Mashiach, Yahushua came from the east. Shekan would be the root also of Mishkan. And as we know, Mashiach is the Mishkan because he is the temple of Yahweh, where Yahweh dwells. And he is the intercessor. So he is whom Yahweh listens to or hears. So without mentioning the horse gate, or leaving it as the horses' bridles of the many who are taken from the hill and have to die through war in the Great Tribulation, then the righteous, whom Yahweh prophesied, is the one whom Yahweh hears, with whom Yahweh dwells, who came from the east, who brought the favor of Yahweh and the payment of Yahweh, as in he paid for our sins, to become favorable after being wounded, to become the friend who brings the blessing of Yahweh. So look how it fits Mashiach perfectly, 29 and 30. After him, Malkiyah, which fits. After Mashiach, the first, comes the last, who comes as a king. So after him, Malkiyah, one of the goldsmiths, who comes for the chosen few who are like gold. So he will give them shape through the doctrine. After him, Malkiyah, one of the goldsmiths, strengthened as far as the house of the Netinim. Of the merchants, opposite the Mifkat gate, and as far as the going up of the corner. And between the going up of the corner to the sheep gate, the goldsmiths and the merchants strengthened. So we have the Mifkat gate and the sheep gate. Let's see, Mifkat. Mifkat means command, commandment, mandate, appointed place, numbering. So we had from Malkiyah, my king is Yahweh. After mentioning the fact that Mashiach came to be sacrificed for our sins and pay our sins and become blessing and favor, then Yahweh will become king, or will be king over all the earth, as it is prophesied in Zechariah 14:9. Yahweh will be king over all who have been given to him from this reality. Or Yahweh will be king who has given his commandments. Yahweh is the king who has given the commandments. The last is the witness like Moshe, and it was Moshe who wrote the commandments. So Yahweh will be king through the last, the witness like Moshe, and he will give commandments. He will number them. He will appoint a place for them, as in the New Jerusalem in Israel. He will appoint a place for the sheep, for the chosen few. So that's how the chapter ends. I hope it was clear enough.